Hello everybody, Hebrew77 here, and today I'm going to try something new, a comic book reading. Now, there's a lot of people out there that love to do these comic book readings, and I'm not an exception to the rule. Today we will be reading, I believe this is the comic book, the mini comic book. This is from the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe mini comics collection, which I have the big book. I have the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe comic book collection book, it's called. It's a great big thick book. And today's reading will be He-Man and the Power Sword. I believe it came with He-Man. I believe this is the mini comic that came with He-Man. I have this comic by itself, by the way. Anyway, we see a picture of He-Man there, and he kind of looks like a Neanderthal, and he's waving to all his Neanderthal pals. And I'll have pictures, of course, on the screen, so you guys can watch the pictures and kind of follow along as I read. A mighty figure stood at the edge of the jungle. Oh, god dang it, I gotta sneeze. Hold on. A mighty figure stood at the edge of the jungle that had until this day always been his home. He-Man, the tribe's greatest warrior, waved his farewell. He might have preferred to stay, but he had a noble mission to accomplish. Evil forces exist on our planet Eternia, He-Man told his people. They seek to control the legendary Castle Grayskull, a place of wonders. If we are to know a lasting peace, I must go out and battle those forces. Farewell, my friends. The outside world had long been a mystery to He-Man's tribe. Although they had heard the fantastic tales about the mysterious Castle Grayskull, He-Man was the first of his people to drudge these craggy cliffs and quake-torn valleys. His homeland was already in the distant mist when he heard the cry for help. Gazing into the valley, He-Man saw that his courage and jungle-bred strength were already needed. Sorry about the sniffles. In a blur of bronze movement, He-Man leaped from the cliffside and unto his shaggy foe. His powerful fingers dug deeply to the monster's hide. But He-Man was not fighting this creature alone. He-Man glimpsed the woman as she gestured magically and attacked the creature with mystical bolts of forces. She is a sorceress, he thought. But her magic hardly fazed the animal. The same could not be said of He-Man's might. Defeated, the animal fled while the sorceress regained her breath. Your strength, your courage, she said, mark you as the legendary hero who is to inherit the treasures I have gathered all these years. They were made centuries before the great wars by Eternia's scientists. Inside the ancient ruins, the sorceress gave He-Man the guarded costumes and weapons. They will add to your strength. Use them wisely, especially in defense of Grayskull. Riding in the strange vehicle, which was a combination battering ram, catapult, and space warp device, He-Man set off again on his mission. A particular valley, still miles away from the castle, struck his fancy. This valley would serve as his new home and headquarters. Wearing the costume that gave him superhuman strength, He-Man went to work on carving out some new home. His new home, using no tools other than the power of his fist. Wow, that's pretty damn strong. But even as He-Man constructed his dwelling, evil eyes were gazing upon Teela, the warrior goddess, as she watered her unicorn charger. Oh, okay. Watered is in it. Got a drink. I gotcha. There is none in all eternity. Oh, no. There is none in all of Eternia as beautiful as she, grunted the ape-like beast man. I'm really starting to believe that she is a goddess. Soon she will be more than that, whispered his master Skeletor. Soon she will be my bride. Turn the page. But it was no simple matter to capture the warrior goddess. She fought like a demon. And she's got blonde hair there, looks like, huh? Her body possessing the spirits of many ancestral champions. Only Skeletor's energy blade, after freezing her courageous steed, at long lasted shocked her unconscious. Carry her to Castle Grayskull, Skeletor commanded his underling beastman. But be careful! I do not like having my bride to be damaged. By nightfall, Skeletor and Beastman had brought their sleeping captive to Castle Grayskull, a fortress too ancient that no one knew its origin. An eerie voice that at the castle's all-present spirit warned them, Go back! The secrets and treasures of Grayskull are not for one to possess. Go away! Another warrior secretly watched as Skeletor defied the warning and forced open the castle's drawbridge. Entering the grim castle, Skeletor and his accomplice failed to notice the other warrior departing through the shadows in his heavily armed chariot. I defy you, spirit of Grayskull, shouted Skeletor. Your many secrets shall be mine. I hold half the mystic powder sword. I shall soon possess the other half, which is hidden within your walls. Then I will have full power, and none of your deadly traps will stop me. I added that in there. That's not actually in the comic. When I join both halves of the power sword together, exclaimed Skeletor, the magic fires created by ancient scientists and sorceress will blaze again. Oh, I was supposed to read that part of Skeletor. And he thought back. Once I lived another dimension, populated with others of my kind. Well, that's interesting. But when the Great Wars opened a hole in the dimension wall, I was torn into this world with the complete power sword. I shall reopen that hole and bring my people here to conquer this dimensional world. So there was more Skeletors? Like in the original comic books, he wasn't Keldor? Oh, that's interesting. Dang it, I got the sniffles. I hate that. After strapping the unconscious warrior goddess to a stone slab, Beastman searched with animal-like cunning through the castle. At last he found an ancient scroll upon which had been drawn a map. The map, which seemed to have been drawn in blood, had many strange symbols which only Skeletor could understand. They show the way to a fiery sword, he shouted. Following the map, Skeletor led the way to a secret passage. Next page. He-Man was finishing his dwelling when he saw the approaching chariot. And what brings the famous man-at-arms to my humble house? He asked sarcastically. Men-at-arms whose people were masters of all weapons, described what he had seen. If Skeletor controls the castle, he might use its secrets to conquer Eternia, he said coldly. And I shudder to think what fate he has planned for the warrior goddess. You know, this comic book's a lot longer than I thought it was. I thought it was going to be one of those mini comics, but man, this thing just goes on and on. We still have a few pages to get through. I hope you guys are very entertained. When I say a few pages, man, I'm saying like this could have been an episode. Like this comic right here could have been like a whole episode. An introduction, if you will, into the masters of the universe. Holy cow poop. Whew. We still got about 3 or 4 pages. So let me just take a small pause here and drink my coffee, and then we'll get on with the reading. Okay. If we fight side by side, offered... God dang it. Wrong voice. If we fight side by side, offered Men-at-Arms, we can more easily defeat Skeletor and his henchmen. You would probably be a worthy partner, said He-Man. But if the threat is as great as you say, I have no time to waste. Getting to Castle Grayskull by wheels. And before Man-at-Arms could say another word, He-Man activated the Battle Ram's space warp device. Moments later, He-Man was vanishing to reappear somewhere else. I didn't realize the Battle Ram had a space warp device. So they stole a little bit from Star Trek at the beginning, huh? Meanwhile, at the castle, Skeletor and Beastman had reached the end of secret passageway and had found a rusty metal door. But as they touched the door, the spirit of the castle cursed them and unleashed its ghostly demons. Beastman's claw and fangs only went through the spectres, but Skeletor's lightning blade quickly blasted them to nothingness. Again I defeat you, spirit of the castle, rasped Skeletor. Now to seize your greatest treasure. Gotta throw in those Skeletor laughs every once in a while. Yet not even his brute strength of Beastman could break open the door. Stand back, you ape, ordered Skeletor, as he proceeded to cut through the ancient door with his lightning blade as if it were melting butter. And even as the door gave way, commotion could be heard from outside. See what it is, commanded Skeletor, and Beastman lopped obediently down the dark corridor. Outside the castle, He-Man was using his vehicle like a battering ram to try to gain entry. He-Man, snarled Beastman as he reached the castle's laser cannon and fired a deadly bolt towards his foe. But He-Man's force-filled garment easily repelled the blast. Is that the best you can do, you brainless gorilla? He-Man taunted. If so, I have nothing to worry about. Turn the page, folks. Perhaps He-Man did not have to worry about laser cannon penetrating his force field, but he did not figure on Beastman choosing a new target. The vehicle, which was not protected by the barrier of force. As He-Man rode out the overturning vehicle, his costume's force field was accidentally switched off. "Now to finish you off," growled Beastman, aiming the laser cannon at his seemingly helpless victim. Inside the tunnel, Skeletor saw the shiny object. Its broken blade seemed to beckon him. He grasped it in his scaly hands, then eagerly placed the two halves of the ancient object together. He could feel the unbelievable energies of the sword as blade burst into green fire. The restored power sword. Oh wait, let me read that again. "The restored power sword!" he exclaimed. With this, I am invincible. There's nothing I cannot do. Nothing! Weapon in hand, he turned thirstily for battle. Turn the page, folks. It's getting exciting. Before Beastman could make his threat, his attack was interrupted by the timely appearance of Man-at-Arms. Said, "I'll keep him occupied, He-Man." Turning to the castle, He-Man pulled with all his mighty strength, taxing his natural power to the limit. Finally, he pulled down the creaking jaw bridge. Flexing his muscles, he said, "Now to help Teela and stop the evil Skeletor." Throwing off his damaged force-filled costume, He-Man hurried down the castle elevator, finding Skeletor waiting for him. With a simple wave of the power sword, Skeletor brought to life many objects inside the castle and commanded them to attack his foe. Without his force field to protect him, He-Man fought off the barrage of objects as best he could. But the objects energized the power sword continued coming. "This is only the beginning," boasted Skeletor. Turn the page, folks. But Skeletor's moment of triumph was abruptly ended, as a beautiful figure appeared before him, glowing green like the energies of the power sword. "You have abused the power sword," the sorceress said. And with magical gestures, she removed the power sword from Skeletor's hand, splitting again into two halves. Immediately, the objects attacking He-Man dropped lifelessly to the floor. A moment later, the sorceress vanished. Having lost most powerful weapons, Skeletor fled to the roof of the castle, where Beastman and Men-at-Arms were already engaged in mortal combat. Wow! Mortal combat. You can see how much more violent the comic book is than the cartoon. He-Man saw an awkward Teela tear herself free of her bonds. Then both warriors rushed up the castle's elevator. Soon they were hotly engaged in the rooftop battle. Hopelessly outnumbered, Skeletor and Beastman both pleaded mercy. With that plea, the battle ended. Okay, so a little side note here. I think the reason this is so long is I don't think this is the mini comic book that came with He-Man. This might have been an even longer comic book that came with the castle. It seems like a really good battle that the castle would do. But anyway, I'm going to turn the page now. Hoping I'm timing this just right. And we're almost done. We're almost at the end. So just hang in there and we will be at the end. Together, He-Man, Men-at-Arms, and Teela watched their defeated foes flee toward the horizon. Then, seeing an apparition below, they climbed down from the roof of the castle. "From now on," said the sorceress, "only the halves of the power sword inserted into this enchanted lock will open the castle's drawbridge. And to keep this castle from again falling into evil hands, I shall hide both halves in secret places." Saying that, she vanished again in a green cloud. Let's see here. "You truly are the masters of the universe. You are destined to protect my secrets from evil forces," said the spirit of Grayskull. Said the spirit of the castle. "You should have at least some small reward." The reward came from a snow-white unicorn that galloped over the hill, returning to its mistress. Do you think that is the last of those two on the power sword?" asked Man-at-Arms. "I doubt it," He-Man answered. But as he looked toward the rising sun, it seemed to be a good omen for Eternia and the Masters of the Universe. Alright, so there you have it. There's the first of the comic books I will read. And I don't know what it is with me and reading this stuff, but it seems like every time I go to read something, my nose gets all runny. So if you heard me sniffling during the reading, I do apologize for that. I'm going to do these comic book readings more often than not. Let me turn off this light. Don't need it anymore. Whew, that was blinding my eye. Okay, that was the first time reading. I think I'm going to try to have pictures, the illustrations from the very comic book that I was reading, although the timing might be a little bit off, so please excuse me for that. I'm new at this. Please let me know what you thought in the comments section. Thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And I think next time I'm going to read the comic book along with the actual illustration. I might do it in StreamYard or something like that. But and I don't know if I'll do the voices or not, but I'll do it with more excitement, more enthusiasm. I don't think I had enough of that in there. But anyway, until next time, remember, knowing isn't just half the battle, it's the whole damn war. See you then.